The Modern Man tutorials. Attention grabbing. So you gotta think of ways to grab females' attention. You know, but definitely don't simp. Basically, don't shoot your shot. You know, you need to wait for the right time to, you know, let it be known that you're interested. Right. The idea is to seem uninterested. Right. Also, don't chase. Just make sure you're available. Make sure you're seen. She should be chasing you, not the other way around, right? So as you'll be able to see in this video, I've said some stuff and I got some responses. So that's always the good first step. It's one thing to leave a comment on a female's post and she just likes your comment or totally ignores it, which I see that happen a lot to guys. But you definitely want to try to get some attention. Sometimes you gotta do it more than once. Sometimes you gotta like a couple posts. I mean, not like comment on a couple posts. Liking is one thing. Yeah, you can like posts, but you want to definitely comment. That's what matters the most. Because the main thing is with commenting versus a like, is that a comment obviously will get an attention and it can get a response. Right? Liking somebody's post is rarely or ever going to get you a response. It's going to get you a conversation because, right? It's the idea of like, you know, for example, if I leave a comment on a post and I'm talking about the post, I'm not talking about the person in the post. I'm just talking about the post, like whatever the post is about, that would draw attention. If I critique, that's the main thing that I tend to do. I tend to critique or at least give advice or ask a question. And those three different things tend to get ladies' attention. That tends to get replies and responses more often than me saying, oh, you're my dream girl, you're perfect, you're beautiful, marry me type of nonsense you see most of these simps be doing. So clearly, you gotta play the game differently. Because if you do what every other guy is doing, you're just gonna be like every other guy, ignored, in the background, an NPC, invisible, right? Because you'll literally look like every other guy. Females don't want a guy that looks like every other guy. They want something special. They want something unique. They want something rare. They want something that stands out, right? So that's why they have most females have the 6 feet, 6 figure, blah blah blah, 6-pack, right? Standard, because the idea is that they want the best of the best, the cream of the crop, right? They want something that's better than what anyone else has, right? So they want the best guy. So they're always shooting for the top. Guys, we tend to start from the bottom and work our way up, right? We'll start with an alright looking chick and try to work our way up to a bad bitch, right? Typically. Same goes for, when you're leaving messages on females' TikTok, right? Or Instagram or whatever, right? Facebook, wherever YouTube. The idea is to, one, spread yourself around, right? Commenting on different types of chicks with different types of variations. Obviously, they gotta be, roughly your type, or at least you'll be interested in them, right? They don't all have to be baddies, as they say, right? They could all vary. Because the goal is, depending on what your goal is, variety increases your chances of getting your goal, right? Achieving what you want. For me, one example is that I'm just trying to network, as it were, right? Network through to the female gender, right? And spread myself thin, right, through the female gender, different body types, different personalities, different lifestyles, right? Do that so that way that opens up opportunities for me being able to, find what I'm looking for with the help of these ladies being involved in the process, right? It's the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So if I'm trying to get to a specific let's say I'm trying to get to Kim Kardashian. It's not enough for me to try to go to her Instagram or something like that and try to hit her up. The likelihood of her noticing me, slim to none, right? So, what will increase my chances of Kim Kardashian would be to associate myself with people that are close by. Some people who might know her, right? Or might know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, right? A friend of a friend of a friend type thing, right? Especially if you know a chick that gets invited to certain events, certain parties and stuff. And Kim Kardashian just so happens to be at those same types of parties. That's the kind of network you want, right? That's the kind of situation you want to be able to be in. Because, like, okay, if I get invited, well, I'm not getting invited. If this female gets invited, right, that I'm talking to, and she invites me to go with her, or I just, suggest that I would be interested in going, and she makes me her plus one, then that guarantees that I get there and I'll be closer to Kim, if that's, the goal, right? So that kind of stuff. So like I said, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You might be good at talking, but if you can't get to a conversation directly with, like, Kim Kardashian, for example, likelihood of you being able to talk into a relationship is slim to none. So that's why you gotta practice talking. So that's the other thing. You get practice talking, right? That's why you should practice talking. That's an important thing you as a guy can do when it comes to females, right? Is talking, because they care more about literally what you say than most other things, right? So that's why a lot of guys are very popular with the ladies, because they're really good at talking. Just like they're really good at listening, right? That's why I'm talking about talking, which is communication. You have to be good at listening and talking. Those are two things that go hand in hand. So you gotta be good at listening to what the females say, and be able to, I'll say women in this regard, because I want to be more respectful. Women. So when you're talking to women, right? So those are what you want is high quality women, right? When you're talking to women, you want to make sure that you are, that you are listening to what they're saying, so that way you can respond accordingly. You don't want to be saying some random bullshit. You definitely don't want to be doing a whole bunch of pickup lines. Now, pickup lines ain't bad. It's how you deliver it. When is the best time? Plus, you should be trying to come up with your own pickup lines. Don't be trying to copy other guys' pickup line. Try to come up with your own things to say when you're talking to the ladies. Because, like, for example, on TikTok, I use mid. I see that a lot. And sometimes, some guys get responses from just saying mid. And so I was like, let me give that a try, right? So, of course, not my original idea, but I liked the potential of that idea. So it's like, all right, let me try out mid and use it as much as I can. Do I have it? Oh, damn, I deleted it. Well, wait, let me see.
I'm looking for a yellow phone, long hair star.
So as you can see, mid, and then just went into a whole conversation that lasted a couple of days. As you can see, nah, I'm way past mid, maybe mid in work clothes. So definitely got her using a lot of emojis, so I'm in there. Not kidding, but you get the idea. It's like I got a lot of emojis, and that's always a good thing, right? Emojis are emotions, blah blah. You always want to be able to trigger her emotions, right? Because women, right, make decisions based off of emotions, right? Guys, we make decisions based off of logic. So that's why actions like women doing things for us, is what gets us interested in them and makes us want to do stuff for them. Just like liking my posts and, commenting. I'm like, I think she likes me. I deleted a lot of stuff here, but there was definitely a lot of hints that some of the ladies in here are definitely interested in me, so that's always a good thing. But like I was saying, is like you want to get the attention so you can get some type of conversation. One, this also helps later on because you can always take the stuff that happened in this conversation and use it later, right? You can always bring it up later. You know, like the idea of this tripod conversation I was just having. You know, she, you know, she's in that type of industry, OF type stuff. Not against it. So, you know, I could always bring up this topic later on in conversations, right? I can also just run with the idea of, you know, that type of content, that type of business, and give advice on that, ask questions about it, right? Among other things, right? Show some, you know, support, show some interest in what she's doing. That's always good. People in general, not just women, but people in general like that type of stuff. We like it when a woman is interested or shows interest in our hobbies or our, you know, lifestyles and activities and stuff like that. So you can do the same for them, right? But like I said, getting their attention. Females always want guys' attention, and with all these simps giving it to them free of charge instead of making it where she comes to them for the attention, where she goes out of her way to get attention. A lot of times I'll have some females like they'll like a lot of my posts, a lot of my videos and stuff to try to get my attention. So after they do that, I go give them a couple of likes, maybe a couple of comments here and there, right? And see what happens. So it's, they give me some attention, I give them some back, right? They give me some love, as I say. That's what I call it, like liking a whole bunch of my posts, and I see a whole bunch of hearts, right? It's like, I appreciate the love, so I return the favor by giving some attention, giving some compliments. And that's the thing, it's like, you don't want to be doing the whole, you don't want to give them compliments off the bat. You want to reward them with compliments, right? So when she shows you interest, or she shows you that she wants your attention, yeah, then you give her compliments. You give her attention. But not too much, right? Not too much. Just give her some here and there. If she wants more, well, she knows what she has to do for it, right? It's just that simple, right? Just like if a guy wants sex, yeah, it would make sense that he be respectful. He be, yeah, he doesn't, you know, fuck it up, right? He says the right thing, does the right thing, and he'll get what he wants, right? So that's the idea. You want her to want your attention. You want her to when she sees you to be happy, right? So you want all that positivity. That's the thing. You want the obvious signs of simping. Like if I wake up one day and see a whole bunch of notifications of like from the same woman, you know, commenting, liking, you know, sharing, that'd be nice, right? Sharing stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I see you, right? And of course, I'll, you know, show some love, and you know, go from there. So anything is possible. But that's the thing. It's like I always wait. Well, like I said, make yourself notice. So I make the first move, but the first move is not, you know, my nuclear strike. Definitely don't be like, I love you, right off the bat like an idiot. Obviously, you know, you want to critique, which is what I tend to do sometimes. That's why the whole mid thing works, because I'm critiquing her appearance, which for a lot of females that tends to, you know, get their attention because they care about their looks. But here's the other thing about the whole mid thing I'll point out is that it also helps shit test. I've been like, maybe 4 chicks blocked me just because I called them mid. Like, they got really mad at being called mid. It's like, oh, okay, you understand the term, all right? Even though mid means average, and that's not a bad thing, but they were offended because I guess they feel they're above average. And they're very full of themselves to be like, yeah, how dare you? But I've met some chicks who are like either A, they're like, no, as you saw, like, no, I'm not mid, I'm definitely above average, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yes, girl. That's what I'm talking about, queen. All right. And then you got some chicks that they would agree, like, yeah, I agree. I am mid. It's like, that's cool. You're humble. I respect that. Personally, I don't think you're mid. Obviously, I would just seeing where your head at. All right. And that's the thing is, you want to know, you know, where's she at? What's her state of mind? The funny thing is, there's this TikTok video I saw that those guys, it was like, the way you get to know, you know, the mindset of a woman is to ask her one simple question: what makes you smile? And if she smiles when you ask her the question, right, you know, then that's a good thing. That's a good sign. But if she can't answer the question, she doesn't want to answer the question, then that means she was hurt. That means, you know, she's going through some shit, right? And it might not be the best time to try to shoot your shot. Might not be the best time to try to flirt. But if she does answer the question or just flat out smiles, then you know you're doing good. I had a scenario like that where, you know, I commented that comment to one of the ladies in the comment section, and she confirmed that I made her smile. So it does prove that that question does work. So there's your confirmation for that, right? Your proof that that concept works. I tried it, it worked. So give it a try yourself. But like I said, it's like, you know, asking a question, making a critique. Don't try to be an asshole. Don't, you know, even if your critique is about, you know, weight, fat content, right? Try to be a little bit more creative on how you phrase it, how you word it, because you don't want to come off like an asshole, right? Sometimes you want to avoid certain labels. You don't want them to insult you, as it were. Sometimes that happens. That's for another topic. How to deal with females that, you know, start insulting you, and how to you know, how to respond to it, right? With, you know, actual words, right? How to respond to when a female starts insulting you. But like I said, you know, you want to make sure that you shoot your shot, right? I'm not shoot your shot. You get their attention. You say something. You do a couple things here and there, and you know, you'll start noticing them coming for you. Another thing I do, obviously, is I follow them, and then, you know, I comment, like a couple of their posts. Typically, I'll like comment. I mean, I'll like and even comment on some of their what is it? Their thirst traps, obviously, right? Just so it shows, like, hey, I like your thirst trap. Clearly, you put them there for a reason. And sometimes I like other miscellaneous things, you know, other things that I see of interest, maybe a hobby of hers, or maybe she has a business and I like the post, you know, to show that I support her entrepreneurship, that kind of stuff, right? You know, women love that. They love encouragement and support. Obviously, fitness videos tend to be stuff that I like and comment on. Ironically, I try to make things simple. Like, yeah, you can do questions and this and the third, but sometimes I try to be. I start off with a what is it called? With an emoji. So I typically use the smirk emoji. So I put the smirk emoji on their post and see what happens. You know, see if they reply. Sometimes they reply back with a smirk. So it's like, interesting. So then that means, okay, I can progress to actually using words. So that's the thing. Sometimes you might not want to put in too much effort, is what I'm saying. So I use emojis, you know, to do less, especially if other guys are leaving a whole bunch of long ass comments. I'll try to be simpler and be like, all right, I'll just leave an emoji, see what happens. I mean, a couple times I try to be funny and leave an eggplant emoji and see how that works out. I think I got a couple responses for it, but typically I do get more responses for smirk and You know, like I said, mid and critiques. So things like that. Um, and like I said, you definitely want to, you know, spread that around on multiple females' posts, right? You know, look at it like fishing, right? So you're just putting out a whole bunch of bait out there, try to see what you know, pretty fishes you can catch, right? So you're spreading out a wide net and trying to catch as many fishes as possible, and then go from there, right? Practice makes perfect. Like I said, practice makes perfect. Sometimes a conversation you have with one woman, let's say it ends up in a situation where she ends up blocking, it's like, I guess I must have said some stuff she didn't like. All right. Let me try to figure out what it could have been and try to not do it again next time I talk to someone else, right? And you know, I go from there. That's one of the things that, you know, I do. Obviously, the whole idea of talking to multiple women, is to learn how to talk, to learn what works, what doesn't work, right? Try and error to see if certain phrasing, certain words, you know, can be, you know, is insulting or not. Plus, you wanted to know, like, depending on the type of woman you're trying to attract, right? You're trying to talk to, what would work the best. Because sometimes you can tell just by looking at them how you should talk to them. Because a lot of times guys try to talk to every woman the same exact way, trying to be cool, suave, trying to sound like James Bond or some bullshit, right? And try to be cool and suave. You know, it's like, yeah, a lot of these women are gonna get fuckboy vibes from you if you're talking a certain type of way. For some women, the whole fuckboy, you know, type of talking, sounding works, but not every woman, you know, vibes to that. So sometimes you gotta be careful how you speak. Like, for example, I'm trying to come up with some examples of, like, some women you can use gamer terms with. I tend to do that. That's where the whole myth thing comes from, because it's a gamer term, and you know, most chicks either it's already know that they like to play video games because they post video game related stuff on their accounts, so that already gives me an idea that she might already know what the term mid means, and we'll see what happens once I use the word right. Other terminologies, you know, even stuff like OF question mark, right? Posting that real quick, right? OF question mark, and seeing how she responds. Terms like spicy link, things of that nature. Like, these are the types of stuff you see on TikTok. And, when you pick up on that stuff, it's like, all right, let me try to use that in conversations and see how it works out, right? See if I can get attention with these types of stuff. That's another thing. Look, especially if it's a specific woman that you're interested in getting her attention, especially if you commented before and you never got response, but it's other people are getting responses, you might want to look at what they're saying, because there's a high probability that the only reason she's responding is because of that. I've seen a couple of times where, like, I'll leave comments on a couple posts and later on realize, oh, wait, this person doesn't use English. They use a different language. Okay, this is going to be, awkward. It'll be hard to get her attention if she doesn't understand what I'm saying, right? So you can try to use Google Translate if you want. And that's if you want to put in the effort. If you don't want to put in the effort, then it's like, all right, keep it moving. This is the wrong person for me to speak to, because, this person speaks a different language from me. So, communication will be a issue. So that's a factor. But if she knows English, most people know English, so you should be good on that, even if they know another language. But like I said, if you notice that she speaks a different language, you might try to use Google Translate to help you, at least try to get her attention. And hopefully when you do get her attention, she might actually speak to you in English, right? A language you're more comfortable with. So that's the kind of small details. That's why practicing talking to women is important, because sometimes language matters. You'd be surprised, even if you find a woman that speaks English and a lot of her content is in English and whatnot, you'd be surprised that if she knows Spanish, you might notice that a lot of times she'll respond to Spanish comments as opposed to English comments. So you might want to know Spanish. And let's say you do know Spanish, like myself, you do know Spanish. Well, that's your advantage, especially compared to all the other guys who are constantly hitting her up with English, comments. You can hit her with Spanish comments instead. That will work better, especially if she prefers it. Because there are women out there who do prefer their native tongue over English, so learning their language matters, especially Japanese women. They definitely love it when you actually know Japanese, but don't sound like a weeb, like a nerd, obviously. Try to actually, pronounce everything properly and actually be fluent as possible in Japanese. They do like that if they themselves are fluent. But if they're a Japanese girl that kind of grew up in America, especially in places like Miami or LA or something like that, then English tends to be the best route. But if they are more traditional, they're more from their homeland, then Japanese will be the best route. And this is advice literally from Japanese women, because I've seen some YouTube videos and stuff, and Japanese women were asked what they like. Do they like it when a foreigner speaks their language, or likes it when they speak English? And they really like it when the foreigner, right, the American, right, speaks Japanese, because it makes it easier to speak, because they tend to not like how they sound when they speak English anyway, and a lot of times their English ain't perfect, so they prefer the foreigner to speak their language, which just makes things so much easier. And of course, you can always teach them how to speak English better, so that's the benefit there. If you speak their language fluently, as well as obviously speaking English fluently, you can teach them how to speak English. So that's the benefit. Or even if you're not that fluent in Japanese, be good enough that at least they could teach you and you could learn, and then y'all teach each other, and that's something you can use to get in, in conversations, right? To get beyond being strangers, right? Because everything, first is attention phase, then it's talking phase, and then there's other phases after that. That's for later videos, right? But right now, I'm trying to get y'all into the talking phase, because most of you guys don't know how to talk to females. Most of you guys, literally, like I said, I'll be seeing y'all in the comments, heart emojis, I love you, marry me, dream girl, you're perfect, simp shit, right? And it's like, yeah, none of that works. I know for a fact none of that works. I've had guys come at me like, oh man, dude, you're a simp, blah, 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 blah. She ain't gonna talk to you. It's like, her and me are talking in DMs right now. Like, in her Instagram. She's in my DMs on Instagram. What are you talking about? She ain't talking to you, but she's definitely talking to me. There's the difference. So, you can believe what you want, but I know where I'm at. And I'm currently in the Instagram DM phase, while you're still here in the comment section talking about Simpson while you're simping. I saw your comment. You were simping. I was not. So, anyway. So, that's one of the funny things that I tend to see on TikTok. Let me refresh my feed, see if there's anything else. Not much. Got some likes, but definitely gotta hit up some more ladies. Try to get some more responses. Right? Practice my craft, my art. That's the end of the video.